Back in Nam, they used to call me Bazooka, 'cause I used a bazooka.
Well, it's the second day of my intermittent fast, and so it's actually not that bad. I've got an hour until I can eat, and I worked out last night for a couple hours with sparring, and considering all that, not so bad. It's actually hard to overeat in that little window. I think that's probably how this works. But anyway, drinking my coffee. It's a beautiful day again for a February here in North Carolina. So I'm outside on the deck, which is covered in leaves. I should probably take care of that. But I was thinking earlier today that, well, I was actually at my son's school, for they had an assembly, and I was sitting there off to the side, and they I kept wanting to, like everybody does, want to pull out your phone and check. And I remember I'd finished checking something like Twitter or something stupid, and I put my phone up. It's like, I'm just gonna put it away and just kind of be in the moment. And then I instinctively reached for that little digital cigarette again to get that little hit. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And the more I thought about it, I realized that a lot of time on your phone is probably killing, well, everybody's on their phone all the time. It's like, how many stories has the cell phone killed, right? So when I was coming up with, there's been multiple times when I was coming up with story ideas, and even if it's just a cover idea, like you have a cover, I need to think about it and just kind of in my head. And back when I was running a lot more, that was the perfect time, because you know you're just kind of in that zone, especially if you're going a long distance, and you just start thinking about stuff, and you start getting story ideas. Or you know, you're in a place and you don't have that phone, your mind starts to wander, and those are where ideas are. Those are where story ideas are. Those were ideas for just visual ideas. In those moments where you're around things that you don't normally draw, for example, you can see, you're observing the world. And I really am starting to think, I know it has for me, and I am going to correct this, that it's really not completely stalled out, but there's a lot of ideas and a lot of story ideas and just visual things that I've missed out on because I'm doing this, right? This is not helping you. It's not helping me. I'm in the process of, oh, my heat came on. I'm in the process of putting together or designing robot mech type things. And last night I was on a live stream, and I was just kind of unwinding because it was a State of the Union, and I didn't feel like, you know, covering the State of the Union. So I was just like, I'm just going to get on and draw. And there was 15, 20 people there. And I got a big fat Sharpie and just was doing shapes because I was having trouble coming up with something original. I came up with a design I like, and the chat would be like, oh, that's such and such from Robotech or Battletech or something. Like, what? I've never even seen that. Turn around and Google it, like, ah, crap, really? Certain things have been, so many things have been done. So many things are subconscious up here because I've maybe seen them. And you got to get those things out, right? You got to spend time not doing this and instead doing this. But also looking around, because you know there are things in nature that have you don't reinvent the wheel. There are, you've got to observe the world, and you've got to observe the world to get shapes, the way things work, that spawn into, you incorporate into your original ideas. And just seeing things that happen that, oh, this would make a good scene, that would make a good scene, this would be a good story. You got to have time to think. Your imagination needs time to breathe. And this is the mental cigarette smoke that is keeping your imagination from breathing. Right here. especially if you're on Twitter for the drama. It always comes back to Twitter, doesn't it? Then the emotion and anxiety of constantly feeding on drama is also that little bit of smoke. It's going to stifle those moments where you just need to, your mind needs to be a little freer. And I've never even been to Legoland. I can't remember who got me this. It even has my name on it, like I've been there. So, what I'm going to do is less time on the phone, unless I'm writing. I got the, as mentioned, Final Draft app. Excellent for filling those little moments that you would be on Twitter. And I'm not saying Twitter, I mean, a lot of people talk about Twitter being, you know, toxic, wasted time, blah, blah, blah. I really do think it's what you make it. I don't have a problem on Twitter. I post art, I talk just silly nonsense, and I go on about my day. But the danger of Twitter and Facebook is kind of like, there's not much going on. Like, everybody's on Facebook, but I don't find Facebook very useful for anything. Because they want you to pay for people to see all your stuff. So if you have a page. But anyway, getting that little dopamine hit that you're always looking for on Twitter, Instagram, which I also can't make work for me, by the way. Twitter and YouTube seem to be the two best things for me personally. But checking things here and there, you know, just a few times out the day, but just trying to be in the moment where you are, and trying to look around you, and think. Just sit and think for a little while. My son, you know, they say boredom is a good thing for kids. It is. I mean, it can get you in trouble sometimes, or it can, you know, cause you to do things creatively. So my son, he's been into Zelda on Switch too much, so we're having to dial it back. But he has a little chart at school, and you know, you end up on a color. So if you're talking too much or whatever, you end up on green, and the cool colors are good. Red and yellows and oranges are bad. So if he ends up on yellow or below, he doesn't get to play video games. And so the other night, he ended up on orange for talking too much. And he lost a video game. He lost two things, because it's at the point now where he's lost it so much. Like, okay, I'll just play with this. He's got this favorite toy of his he always plays. He kind of uses it for his, it's like a placeholder. Like, he has it in his hand, but he's acting something out. It's hard to explain. You just have to see it. But it's his favorite. There's a big hawk over there that just landed. Sorry, got distracted by nature. See, I'm observing. So I said, all right, you tonight you weren't going to get to play video games anyway. You're going to lose your toy. All right, I'll just use my backup. Like, okay, no. How about this? No backup. When I took all similar things away, he flipped out. I'm like, all right, then that's what needs to happen. So we get home, and he's bored because he doesn't have the two go-to things. And so he goes to the table and starts drawing. I'm going to draw this, blah, 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 blah. And he starts making up those story drawing thing. So it was that little boredom, and oh, they're two hawks. They are. Those are huge. So it was that boredom, out of routine, what do I do, that he had to engage his imagination. And I don't think you ever outgrow that, right? You need time to look, see, observe, and remember, like the old famous artist school motto, and just time to think of stories. You remember that scene in Beetlejuice? This has nothing to do with what I just said, because I'm looking at these hawks where is it Jeffrey Jones, is that his guy's name? Looks out the window, he's going to bird watch, he sees this horrible bird eating dead flesh. I think that's what's going on over there. I think they caught something. They're eating like a dead mouse or squirrel or something. Anyway, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications. Blah, 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 blah. You know how it works. Share the link to this. My buddy Chris is coming over here. Says he has some more commercial stuff, which hopefully I don't know if I'll get to include it in this one. I may have to put a different intro on this one, but he says he's got some more stuff. I'm just enjoying putting those together. But William the Last with Antarctic Press is always in previews. The trade paperback just finished. I'm not sure what is. I think it issue 4 of the second, what will be the second trade, is coming out this month. I gotta check, but just check Antarctic Press under previews. Tell your shop that you'd like to order it. You can read it on Webtoon as well. But if you're enjoying it on Webtoon, please buy the book. And I will see you all next time. It's time to eat, and I can't get this bag open.